The April 1986 disaster at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine was a product of a flawed Soviet reactor design coupled with serious mistakes made by the plant operators. It was a direct consequence of Cold War isolation and the resulting lack of any safety culture. Chernobyl had many explosions, but one of the biggest ones happened in 1986 because of a failed reactor and untrained workers. Steam explosions and fires released at least 5% of the radioactive core into the atmosphere and downwind around 5,200 bpq. That is a measurement of radioactivity. 2 workers died in the explosion and 28 people died afterwards due to radioactive poisoning. There is no evidence that Chernobyl is still harmful except for the increased amount of thyroid cancer. Chernobyl was officially declared a tourist attraction in 2011. Resettlement of the area is still ongoing.
Many people who were at the site of Chernobyl suffered radiation burn. Radiation burn is damage to the skin or other biological tissue caused by exposure to radiation. It often appears red in large patches and even looks like a really bad sunburn.
During the Chernobyl nuclear power plant accident, hot fuel particles reacted with water and caused a steam explosion. The explosion lifted the 1,000 metric ton cover off of the power plant. This caused the rest of the 1,660 pressure tubes to rupture, then causing a second explosion. The reactor core was then exposed to the environment. This all caused a fire that released radiation into the atmosphere. The fire lasted for 10 days, killing 28 workers. 500,000 people had to evacuate, but 140,000 were not allowed to leave.
After what happened with Chernobyl, experts needed a plan to keep the gases and chemicals away from Earth and its atmosphere. 3 weeks after Chernobyl, experts started designing the sarcophagus. The sarcophagus was planned to be an arch-shaped structure around the nuclear reactor to filter radiation out of the gases. It's designed to limit radioactive contamination. In 1986, when the first sarcophagus was being built, it only took 6 months, but then experts became very concerned that the high radiation levels could affect the stability of the sarcophagus. In 2006, they began making a new, safer structure they thought would only take 5 years, but now is expected to finish in late 2017. This new sarcophagus is expected to last 100 years. The sarcophagus is 360 feet tall and 843 feet wide. It is held together by 680,000 bolts and 29,000 tons of metal. This safe sarcophagus cost $3.9 billion.
In 1970, the Chernobyl power plant was built in Ukraine. In 1972, the pressurized water reactor idea was put into play and built not too long after. Later, in 1982, the first reactor, the core melted down. This was the first of many problems to occur. In 1985, the Minister of Energy came to warn all the workers of the effect that the energy would have on them and the environment. No one listened. Not too long after, in April 26, at approximately 1:23:44, a predicted explosion occurred. The next day, they had to evacuate the town and many around it. 7 years later, in 1992, the 4th reactor caught fire, then spread to the 2nd one, destroying them both. In 2000, the 3rd reactor was shut down, and the idea of a 5th and 6th reactor was totally thrown out. 10 years later, the idea of the sarcophagus was released, a €432 million plan. Since the 3rd reactor shut down, tours have been going on and off throughout the facility until 2013, when part of the roof caved in by the sarcophagus. After 7 years of work, the sarcophagus should finally be completed next year in 2017.